Hey everybody, it's Kira with Polymer Clay TV, and today I'm going to show you how to make this awesome cuff bracelet. It only takes a couple of tools, so let's go ahead and get started. So today we're going to go from just your regular lump of metallic clay, and you do need to use one that's a pearl or a metallic, and we're going to do some mica shift. So I'm going to warm up this clay and start rolling it through my machine. So the first thing, and this is about half a bar of Primo Antique Gold, Primo Accents Antique Gold. And this is my number one, which is the large setting. So first, I like to warm it up and get it moving, and then roll those pieces through at the large setting, sandwich them together, roll them through again. And I'm gonna combine them to try to get rid of my jagged edges. I'm just going to work this out a little bit before I start doing the shift, because I want the clay to be nice and warm before I start rolling it in one direction to get all those pieces of mica lined up. That's what the technique is all about. So you want to start with clay that is already conditioned and moving. You don't want to be trying to force the mica shift to happen when the clay isn't even wanting to move yet. Okay, so now we're good. And I'm going to start folding and keeping my clay against the side of the machine. And I like to pinch the bottom a little bit. It kind of keeps the air out. And you put the fold at the bottom and the opening at the top so that the air can come out the top. And because I'm making a bracelet, I'm going to want this to be a little bit longer and thinner, so I'm going to go ahead and give it this kind of a lengthening treatment. So it's okay to kind of fold your piece, and then I'm going to put the fold down and I'm going to apply a little pressure, upward pressure. I'm pulling on it so that as it goes through it remains straight. Okay, so I'm pinching the bottom, putting it against the side, and then as it rolls through, I'm kind of gently tugging on it so that my piece of clay remains nice and straight. All right, now let's work out the actual mica shift thing here. So what I'm going to do is use my Feather Your Nest stamp, and I'm going to deeply impress my clay with this stamp. A can from a drink, it's empty, and we're going to go ahead and put this piece of clay around the can for this next step. So we're basically going to lay it on there, get it stuck. You can even, I'm pushing on the back of that just to hold it still, because this part doesn't really matter. What we're doing is we're going to shave. We're shaving the high points, and this part's going to take a little while, but basically I'm cutting off the stamped portion to reveal the mica shift below. So listen, here's the thing. I'm going to be putting it on here to bake. The reason I put it on here to cut off the high points of the design is just to make it easier, because a lot of people put their mica shift flat on a surface and then they try to cut off all the parts and pieces, and it's just a lot harder. So this is just an assist to help me before I put my piece of clay onto my actual bracelet. So what we've got going on here is probably clay that needs to be trimmed a little bit. So you just decide where you want your edges to be. I'm just going to cut off the scraggly parts. All right, so here I have a bunch of stuff going on, but it's all pretty easy. I had taken the peacock feather silk screen and I took a little section of it and I used silk acrylic glaze. The color here is sunflower, to silkscreen a piece of souffle clay in a turquoise color. So that's that. For this is cowboy souffle, and it is just simply rolled out and stamped with the same stamp. So you'll see echoes of the same shapes and things going on this and with the side pieces. So I took one of my graduated circle cutters and I decided which piece I thought was going to fit best on the bracelet, and I'm going to go ahead and cut a chunk of this out. And this is totally dry. The paint is dry. Okay, so I've got that. And I also have some feathers that I molded with the same gold, antique gold clay. So now I'm going to go ahead and piece these on to the bracelet. And I know that I want to cut this in half and quite possibly cut it down even further than that. But I'm going to start by putting this on the, making it match up to the end and bringing it toward the middle. And then the same thing with this. I'm not gonna strongly press these on because I'm gonna be taking them off to figure out some other stuff here. So I see I have some middle portion to work with, but I also have these pieces, and the way I made those was simply by bending my blade around a portion of the design that I liked. And then what I'm going to do here is round these so that they'll fit around this. And what I mean is I'm going to take a chunk out so that it will fit up right against that. So I took that chunk off, and then with this one, try to make them the same length. I'll take this chunk off of that one. So I've got two pieces that are about the same. I'm going to take these back off, and I'm going to go ahead and put this in the middle. And now I am going to press it on real good. And once your silk screened paint is dry, you can handle it, so it's nice. I'm going to press that on, and then I'm going to piece these around the side like that. And then this one over here. And then I'm going to take my feathers, because I know where those are going to go. They're going on the center piece. Like this. Probably what I'm going to decide to do here is make these into strips that I can put along the edges. That's what I'm feeling like it needs. Let's see. It wants to be more finished looking on the side here. See that? So I'm going to go ahead and press this on and then cut that off. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish piecing this on all the way down to the end there. Cut it off. Then you have to decide how you want to finish these ends. Do you want to put a border there? Ooh, little piece of cat hair, watch for that. You know, how do you want to finish it? Because next thing, this is going in the oven. And I actually am feeling okay with this being open because I haven't decided. Maybe I will put some lacing here. You know, there's a lot of choices on how to finish the actual bracelet. So the cool thing is that this texture right here, this is not texture, this is all pretty smooth. And that is the mica shift showing up for you. And I have some plans to use paint rather than powders or anything to highlight the textured designs there when I'm done, after it's baked. So let's go ahead and bake this and I'll show you how I finish it off. Okay, we are out of the oven and cool. So when you're making this bracelet, you have choices. You can either choose to cover the entire bracelet blank and keep it in there, or you can pop it off, which I will do at the very end after I am done doing all my coloring and things and making sure that I'm really finished. So I have two products here that I'm going to use. One of them is Vintage Patina in verdigris color, which is basically that copper color that, you know, copper ages to. And then I have Gilder's Wax in Patina, which is the same idea, same color. It's that greeny color that you get when your copper ages. And I'm going to use them both because I like this. This is a very glossy finish, and then this is like a more aged looking finish. And I think that it's going to be fine using both because I've got a lot of stuff going on here and it's just going to look cool with lots of different techniques applied. So I'm going to start with the Gilder's paste, and I'm just going to use my finger to grab some and then apply it to the top parts of the feather. And this feather has lots of nice texture, so I like that. And how much and how little and where I decide to put the patina, you know, that's just going to depend on going back and forth until you like how your piece looks. And this patina Gilder's paste tends to be very subtle and light, so a little bit just kind of highlights your design, highlights your texture, brings it out. And then the Vintage is a much bolder, shinier, more opaque kind of a look. And I always keep a paper towel around. And this you just shake up and you put a little bit on your work table. And I always like to work on this Teflon sheet. And then I just like to tap it out, and I'm just going to put it in select areas. Because it's a brighter look, I don't want to cover everything I just did with the lighter patina. So I'm just going to kind of decide, all right, it'll go around the extreme edges, maybe actually on the edge of that brown. See that? On the edges. And then here too, around the extreme edge of the feather that I cut out here. And then on the actual edges of the brown part. And you want to work fast with the Vintage because it dries real quick. And then you can decide, you know, maybe a little bit around here to brighten it up, a little bit around the actual kind of edges of the feather, but not covering the more subtle thing that I did in the middle there. So where you put it when you're mixing products is up to you, and whether you even want to use it or not. I just happen to like layering and using lots of different things so that I get sort of that mixed media look of layered stuff. And then when you're all finished, you can go ahead and gently pry your clay off of the cuff, and it'll come right off. And then there you have it. And if you want, like I said, I thought I might use some sari ribbon and actually create. Okay, so once you've got your bracelet off the blank, and like I said, I thought I might want to lace up the back, and I am going to do that. So I'm going to show you this fun tool that I have. This is a spiral punch, and it is very good at punching holes. So it has tips, and the tips are actually interchangeable. There's a couple sizes that come in the back of the handle, and it's just a chuck. You just unscrew this and put in the tip that you want. And then what you do is you place it on your piece, and this is great for after your piece is baked. You can see how perfect of a hole it makes. So you're just going to place your tool where you want to punch it out, and then push, let it do its thing, and it actually punches holes in the baked clay, and they're perfect little round shapes. So that's something that I got at the craft store. It's actually a Martha Stewart, but you can get it at art supply stores too. It's a paper tool for binding books, because you see how it cut through a nice thick piece of polymer clay pretty easily, and basically it's made for cutting through stacks of paper so that you can stitch them together. So if you can't find it at your local craft store, you can talk to someone at the art supply store and tell them that you're looking for a bookbinding spiral punch. So I hope that you enjoyed this little project, and that you make a really fun bracelet. So go ahead and post what you made. We would really love to see it. Thanks for creating along with me today on Polymer Clay TV.